Hi guys, and welcome to Samsung Now. Samsung Now is where we look at all things Samsung, all things tech and all things gaming and everything in between. So if you're interested in any or all of that, don't forget to subscribe. It's this big arrow coming down there and then you just press the thingy under there. Today I want to talk about whether it's actually worth getting a 4K TV or not right now. I feel that, you know, there's still a lot of change that's going to happen with 4K over the next year or so that may make it worth just waiting that little bit longer. So the first thing you need to consider when you buy a 4K TV, or whether you should buy a 4K TV, is why are you buying a 4K TV? Right now 4K TVs are still pretty expensive. It's not worth getting a 4K TV where the model is older than a couple of years. You don't want that. If you're going to buy a model, then get last year's model at the very latest, maybe 2015, but you wouldn't want to go beyond 2 years because the technology in terms of where 4K panels have come from and where they are now is a huge shift. There's been a massive shift. If you're going to buy an older model, go last year or at the very most the year before, but really do some research on the model you're buying. Don't be hoodwinked by the fact that it's cheap. There's a reason it's cheap, and that's because the manufacturers and those that have stock want to get rid of it. So yeah, you need to figure out why you're getting a 4K TV and what content that you have access to or will have access to that will benefit you from having a 4K TV. You know, do you use Netflix? Do you use Amazon? Do you have a PS Pro or an Xbox One S, or are you going to get an Xbox One X? These are the things you have to consider, and a good way of doing that is if you're using Netflix or Amazon, look at the programs that you're sort of watching and the genres and what have you that you're interested in, and then see if there is a 4K version of that. You can probably do that online because it may not show you on your TV that you're using right now. And if that's the case, and then sort of work out whether, you know, you're going to benefit from that. There's still an awful lot of popular series that are coming out and movies and what have you that are just not being sent to us, delivered to us in 4K. A good case in point is Game of Thrones. You know, new series just come out and it's still in HD. You know, it doesn't make sense to me. So you really have to consider what you're going to benefit from in terms of 4K, and you know, if you've not got sort of Netflix, or you don't use it so much, or the content that you're viewing on Netflix or Amazon isn't really available to you in 4K, then it may not be worth your while, because unless you're going to get something like Comcast 4K service, which is coming out soon, or Sky 4K, which, you know, they're okay, but still the content really isn't there. So yeah, it's all about content and what you watch and what you get from it, and you know, whether that's going to be fundamentally different for you. But if you get if you buy movies and you got a 4K Blu-ray player, then you know, then there's a bigger, stronger argument to owning a 4K TV. If you've got Sky Q or Comcast 4K, then again, you know, it's okay that there is a bit of a leap, not massive compared to HD on the streaming services and on the HD on the Sky and Comcast, but it's all about the fact that there isn't a huge amount of content there. Also, the other thing you need to consider is that right now there's a HDR, high dynamic range war that's going on with Dolby, HDR10, HDR10 Plus. There's all these HDR formats that are all coming out, and you really, if you can wait another year to get a TV, then you may be wise doing that. Also, if you are going to buy a TV, wait till January, February, because unless you really want the very latest, wait till January, February, because you get the sales, and also the new versions and the new models of TVs that LG and Samsung and all the others release tend to come out early spring. For if you've got a big HD TV and a relatively small room, it would look pretty crap. Anything below 55 inches for a 4K TV really, in my opinion, is a waste of time. You know, 55 inches, 65, if you can do it, is better. Simply because it doesn't matter that you're closer to the screen, because the pixel density is much greater. So it's really not worth getting a 4K TV that's below 55 inches. You can get them. I wouldn't recommend getting them. The only time I really would consider getting a 4K was like when I've got a 4K monitor and I'm sat pretty close to it, and that's only 28 inches, the one I've got over there. Other than that, you really need to go big or go home, you know, with a 4K TV. And also, what's the point in getting a 4K TV that's like 40 inches, 42 inches wide? You're really not going to notice any difference between a 4K 42 inch or whatever it is TV and a HD TV that's the same size. You're really not going to notice much difference. And again, it comes down to content, it comes down to what you watch. Yeah, don't get anything secondhand right now. There's a lot of 3-4 years old on eBay. Whew, steer clear of those. I really would steer clear of those. You know, the technology has advanced a lot since then. We've seen huge changes in how panels have got brighter and better. And when you compare them to the older versions, the older panels, they're day and night. And then another golden rule is stay away from the cheap makers. So, you know, I won't name names, but there are brands that are known for doing very cheap panels and very cheap TVs. So you kind of want to steer clear of those. If you go for Samsung, obviously Samsung, or LG or Sony or Philips or Pioneer, stick to those. Yeah, those are the key points you need to think of when buying a 4K TV. What content are you going to watch? What size of TV? Can you go up to 55 inches? Can you wait? Is it important for you right now to have a 4K TV? Do you want to have Sky Q or Comcast 4K? Because there are no other means of getting over the air or through the, or unless you've got cable in terms of Virgin here or BT, but the content really isn't there still. Sky and Comcast kind of have more content than most, but still it's not much. And also you have to consider that there's this whole HDR format war going on, and the newer TVs that are likely to come out next year will be able to adopt all of them, whereas the ones that are coming out this year may not be able to do that, and the one I have here may not be able to do all of them. Who knows? We just really don't know. And panels are getting better and better and better. And the other thing is it's economies of scale as well. So as we move on and more people buy 4K TVs, the cheaper they will eventually become. So if you can hold off, then it may be worth doing. And then of course, if you were okay with the previous year's model, then wait until January, February, and there's usually some really great deals available to you then. So those are the things to consider. But it's all about, the main point to consider is really the content and what are you watching, and how much of a difference really is that going to make to you, to your enjoyment of your TV. So you really look at what you're watching, look at where you're watching it from, look at what you enjoy doing, and then take it from there, and then build out from there as to how big your current TV is, whether you can go to 55 inches on a 4K, what other content that you're likely to get in for the TV, and is that, money worth spending elsewhere right now. You know, there's always that. You could always just, you know, just not bother at all and just stick with your HD TV. So those are my thoughts. I hope that's kind of helpful. And don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to comment. If you want to ask questions, please do. I'm more than prepared to answer them. And I'll speak to you very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.